estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
All right, thanks for spending some time with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We got a great lineup for you per usual. Attorney Frank Miranda in the house, FCM Law. We're going to talk about his agency representing agents, NFL players going into the NFL. Also the insurance market. We're going to talk a little bit about that. What happened? Why are we there? How did we get there? Also seeing a little uptick in commercial foreclosure activity. So we'll be discussing that with Frank as well. Second half, Captain Will Smith Aviation. Talk about the aviation industry here as well coming up on today's program. Feel good story of the day. Always have a great feel good for you. This one's about a grad student who trades piano performances per housing at a senior facility. Really cool story coming up there as well on today's program, the Consumer Quarterback Show, always helping you win in any marketplace. And we do that on the real estate side by helping our sellers sell faster for more money, maximizing the exposure. That's one of our greatest duties, is to get the most amount of exposure, the maximum exposure that's going to lead to maximum profit and a shorter marketing period, of course, by the Consumer Quarterback Show for all of our real estate listings. And we got a couple of hot ones here. I want to let you know about 5402 US Highway 92 in Plant City. We've got a bar for sale out in Plant City. Could be potentially a restaurant, maybe. Maybe you want to get a restaurant going. But this is really cool, guys. It's over on 92. It's the Finish Line Saloon right there, major roadway as well. You got great traffic passing by. You have just over a quarter-acre lot. Zoning is commercial general. Now, this one it's a turnkey bar, but you also have a coveted COP license. So that COP license allows you to sell packaged liquor as well as to host parties and events on location at different locations as long as you're in the same county. So it's a great opportunity there at 5402 West US Highway 92 in Plant City. You can see all of our listings at platinumcoastalelite.com as well, platinumcoastalelite.com. And 3101 Old Archer Road is a beautiful property in Gainesville, Florida. We have pre-construction condos, luxury condos available for sale exclusively by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Realty. This one's on Archer Road, Unit 209, Gainesville, Florida. Now, if you're buying pre-construction, you're getting 10% off the retail price. So if it's a $500,000 condo that you're buying, you're saving $50,000 just by getting in early and buying that pre-construction pricing. It's only a mile and a half from University of Florida. So all the UF Gators out there, talk to your friends about this one because you can buy and potentially rent this out. There are no rental restrictions at this community. So it's a great opportunity to own real estate in a resort-style, temperature-controlled area, pool accompanied with cabanas and grills. Beautiful property. You can see all of our listings at platinumcoastalelite.com. Check out platinumcoastalelite.com. All right, Frank Miranda, back in studio. Welcome back, sir.
Thanks for having me back, Brandon. How you been?
Yeah, man. Things are great. Blessed and highly favored. Market's still, a little bit tough. It's a difficult market as far as resales go. Luckily, we do have that Gainesville project going on too, man. The pre-construction condos up there, luxury condos in Gainesville.
Yeah, like anytime you have great college residences, you're going to hit a home run, in my opinion, because there's always going to be a need. Every year there's, 20,000 kids moving to Gainesville. If they're not going to University of Florida, then they're going to attend a community college. And so you're always going to have the pool of prospective renters there. And when you have a quality product out there compared to what's there, there's a lot of places in college towns that are old. And so when you have the newest and the best, most parents want to put their kids in the newest and the best, and so you can benefit from that. So that does look like an interesting opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Get in there. That pre-construction pricing really makes it awesome and affordable. Let's start off. We normally start off with real estate. Let's start off on the other side because you're involved in the with the new agency for Life Management. Tell us a little bit about your agency. You're representing athletes going to the NFL.
Yeah, so this started off with my son's Luke idea. He graduated with a master's in sports management at Florida State, and he has a passion for representing young men going into professional athletes, going to want to be in the NFL. And we looked at the way it's been done in the past and how it's been handled, and it's been handled in a fashion where something's wrong, because when you look at the book, when you look at the stats, and you see 85% of these kids are financially insecure within 3 years, we certainly wanted to change that mold. And so we brought more accountability to what we do. We're more hands-on. We're a small individual brokerage, or not a brokerage, but a small individual agency where we don't want numbers. We want to make sure we take care of our people on a daily basis. We touch base with them at least once, twice, 3 times a week. There's financial responsibility. There's budgets. There's avenues to invest in a responsible fashion. And so we're doing this for the long haul. We're doing it to try and change the way it's been done. Where, in all honesty, when you look at it, it looks like the player has been taken advantage of, because at the end of the day, once that contract's signed, there's been no one to really hold them accountable, hold their hand, or care to do it. And so at the end of the day, I like the message we've been promoting. It's been well received. Unfortunately, we've told a handful of players that at the end of the day, we weren't the right fit, because their vision wasn't our vision. And so we're selective, and we want to be selective, and to our happiness, really, and to not really shock, but the message we've given out has been well received, much more than I thought it would be. I thought it'd be more of a me society, and people are opening up their eyes that responsibility is important.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like these athletes too, man. They're getting recruited earlier and earlier. They're getting money given to them, and given in a way where
I heard that you can do it in high school now. I heard that just passed.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm like, this is out of control.
Yeah, it really is. And these kids are coming up with such crazy egos. It's interesting. I've heard one of the speakers on our station. He said he goes around and asks kids when he goes to speaking engagements. He says, "What do you want to be, when you grow up?" And he says the resounding feedback is, "I want to be famous." And he's like, "Famous for what?" I just want to be famous. And he says, like, eating hamburgers, like the most hamburgers eaten. He's like, but isn't that kind of like the youth now, the movement? It's like that's what they've been taught, and that's what they're seeing every day. So I imagine, bringing us all the way full circle, when you're dealing with an NFL player, a college athlete going into the NFL, you got to have a certain amount of ego there. That's like, wow.
That's a good question. I have been pleasantly surprised that the 3 guys we've actually have in the NFL, Eric Garrett with the Tennessee Titans, Shedrick Jackson with the Cincinnati Bengals, and Akeem Dent with the LA Chargers. Those guys get it. They understand the concept of saving money, trying to live below your means, pay off your credit cards at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Avoid high interest car loans. They get it, right? And they didn't maybe get it when they were in high school. And you compare what you just talked about to the guys we represent. Some of it has to do with their surroundings. Some of it has to do with the way they were raised. Obviously, it has to do with a younger generation that always has a phone within 5 feet of them.
Yeah.
All that are reasons why we're headed that way with a younger society.
Right.
Now, it's, we just mentioned NIL in high school.
Yeah.
It's a disaster in college. I don't know how it's going to be in high school, and I don't even know who would be so motivated to pay a kid to come to your high school. I mean, that speaks.
That's too far, man.
Yeah,
they cross the line.
Yeah, I don't know why someone would even want to do that. And at the end of the day, 1% of college football players are going to make it in the NFL.
Right.
And that's only for 3 years.
Yeah, not for long league.
Right. And so when we have conversations with young men, my first conversation is, what are you going to do if you can't play football?
Right.
We start talking about that day one.
Yeah.
Because it's going to come faster than you want it to.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if you're lucky enough to play 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, even 10, you're probably the 1% of the 1%.
Yeah.
And so how do you make it so your dream of financial stability actually happens?
Yeah.
I had a conversation with a young man yesterday, and I said, act like you've been there before.
Yeah.
And he goes, what are you talking about? Because everyone knows what that means. And I said, when you make a team and you start making, I think the league minimum this year is
Is it like
over 800 grand or 795, one of the two. I'd have to look it up, but that's the league minimum. But they own you, right? You really work nonstop for 8 weeks, and it's physically brutal. It's mentally brutal because the playbooks are not simple.
Right.
Okay, so, and there's a constant strain that if you don't perform, they'll bring someone in to replace you.
Right.
So it is a grind. And yes, the public sees the nice part of it. They see Patrick Mahomes, who's the 1%er of the 1%er.
Yep.
You know, makes $30-40 million a year and gets every endorsement in the world and has the big house and all that other stuff. They don't see what I'll say are the grunts, right?
Yep.
The guys on the boots, the guys that are on the roster from the 20th best player to the 53rd best player.
Yeah.
Those guys make up your team, but those guys they don't get those endorsements, and they're in the facility as long as everyone else, and they're there 12, 14 hours a day.
Yep.
And if they're not working out, they're getting rehabilitation so they can go do the same thing again tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you know, the mental strain is just as difficult, right? So if you don't perform, they're going to get somebody else to replace you immediately. It's no messing around.
Yeah, they're already there. They got a depth chart built out, and you know, if you're on that depth chart, you're wanting to move up, so you get that pay increase, and you also get the on-screen time as well. But yeah, I can imagine some of the your right guard, for example, right? I mean, that's got to be one of the least paid players on the roster somewhere in there, right? Some of your athletes, but yeah, when you think about it, the NFL, not for long, they really need to prepare, and I think that's what your point is with For Life Management, Frank, that you're helping them prepare for that time after football and helping set up their family and put the trust in place and all these different medical directives and having that whole structure.
Right, and we have it all. So we have the medical facility that we refer to, the medical group of people we have to take care of our players. We have financial guys that take care of our players, and I tell them I have no interest in any one of those people I refer to. I'm not getting kickbacks. We don't want any of that. We want complete independence, and I'm not going to send you someplace I'm not going to use.
Right.
And so if I send you to a doctor, that's the guy I would go to.
Yeah.
If I send you a financial planner, that's the guy I would go to.
Yeah.
And so we also stress upon this too. Life outside the NFL, we want to make sure you're good. So when you sign a contract, I'm going to review it. We help guys get into the Canadian League. We don't even take a fee on that. They want to continue to play. We're going to help you continue to play.
Wow.
And so I think we do a lot. Well, I know we do a lot more than what some of the bigger guys, well-known guys, do.
Yep.
Because if you're not making them money, they don't care about you.
Yeah, they're just run them through the mill.
Yeah.
Yep.
And on Sundays when they're in town, they come to my house and eat.
There you go. I like it. Yeah, and going back to that NIL, it's kind of like it's not Pat Saban. Nick Saban said, with his wife, the comment that I'm sure a lot of people have heard by now, but the kids used to want to come in and talk about how to be a man, how to they're going to teach them. The parents would be interested in that, and then he says, now they come in, how much are you going to pay me? How much are you going to pay me? And the wife said, well, why are we even having these family barbecues on the weekend for the families?
And you know what? I'm on board with Coach Saban.
Yeah.
That whole philosophy is how do I make this person a better person?
Yep.
How do I teach them how to be mature? How do I teach them how to act? I mean, some of these guys have never even written a check.
Yeah, exactly.
They never had to.
Yeah.
Their room and board's been provided for.
Yeah.
In some regards, some of their cars have been provided for. There's no need to write a check. They have a debit card. The money goes on a debit card. They know how to use that.
Yeah, exactly. Or shop the car, or shop the lease, or
right.
shop the
and
down payment on a home.
It's really not their fault because everyone's throwing it at them.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone said, here it is. And they go, they don't know how to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
And so you got to go to the bases, go, have you even applied for a credit card?
Right. Yep, exactly. How to build credit. All right, we're talking with attorney Frank Miranda on the Consumer Quarterback Show, fcmlaw.com. You can check them out online, fcmlaw.com as well, For Life Management. When we come back, we're going to talk more about the commercial foreclosure activity that we're seeing as well. It's not so much on the residential side this time. It's going to be more on the commercial side. Plus, we're going to talk a bit about insurance, some of the impacts and reasonings behind the impacts with the insurance industry. Plus, our feel-good story of the day, grad student trades piano performances for housing at a senior facility. We'll be right back here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. More with attorney Frank Miranda coming up here in just a minute. Quick listing here. I want to let you know about this property on the beach. This is a gorgeous beachfront property, 18522 Gulf Boulevard, Indian Shores. And you can rent this out, short-term rental. It has no restrictions. And you're right on the sugar sand beaches and dolphin-filled waters of Pinellas County. This one's 18522 Gulf Boulevard, Unit F, Indian Shores, 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,000 square feet. And it's got a very low monthly fee. HOA fee is only $250 per month. Great opportunity right here in Tampa Bay. 18522 Gulf Boulevard. Beautiful listing from the Platinum MVP team. You can see all of our listings at platinumcoastalelite.com. All right, we got Frank Miranda in the house. Frank, you had mentioned a little bit about some of the commercial foreclosure activity that you're seeing. What say you?
Yeah, so I think that you're certainly going to see some commercial foreclosure action. I think typically in office building space. Fortunately, again, as we've discussed before in this program, this area is better than most in the country because so many people are moving here. And so just because of the fact that we have demand, we're going to do better than most of the areas in the country. With that being said, I know there's a lot of commercial loans coming due soon. And so it's going to be intriguing to see whether or not some of the buildings that may not be 75% or so occupied, whether they can make it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Plus, the Fed, we've been trying to get the Fed to reduce the rates, but they're not because of the stubborn inflation that's still hanging around.
Right.
So we're not seeing that relief that we thought we would get coming into the summer. So I think that's a challenge for a lot of people. But yeah, and then also the other side of that is you have a lot of these. A couple weeks ago about this, where there were a certain amount of these commercial buildings, office buildings, that were trying to retrofit into apartments and townhomes. But the plumbing is a big issue, so it's very costly to go in there, especially once the concrete building. I mean, you're trying to bust up concrete, put new piping in. It just doesn't work. So I think that could be a challenge. And we talked a lot about that early on, about the commercial foreclosure activity that we could see. Switch gears. We got about 4 minutes left to dive in this issue of insurance. So insurance is another big issue in the state of Florida. Challenges for the debt ratios. People not only now fighting that interest rate side, which is pushing their payments up, but then when you talk about principal, interest, taxes, and insurance is hurting people's debt ratio too now, Frank.
Insurance is killing people. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's killing everybody, right? I can say that personally. My office building's insurance is going crazy. From personally, I just had a son that turned 16 and put him on the policy. Now they want $24,000 a year for the family. It's out of control when you're talking about 30, 40, 50% increases, or even more.
Yeah.
Even more. And to me, the economy that's not a reflection on the economy. You're providing a service. So you're providing, and typically if you're in a car accident, you have medical expenses, which are pretty much regulated by codes and how you bill. So that's maintained, right? So you can't come back and say that's out of control, because they can't say that. Mm-hmm. You have automotive repairs, to my knowledge, supply chains when it comes to that kind of stuff. That has loosened up. There's supply now for that, so you can't blame it on that. Certainly when it comes to property insurance, and we had this off the air, right? The allegation from insurance company is, well, about all this fraud we have to pay for. I'm convinced they can curb that, right? Mm-hmm. There's been a bill, so let's talk about personal injury and let's talk about an auto accident. There's been a bill that's been circulated for years to try and get rid of PIP, right? Because some of these people that do rehab, they're alleging some of that's fraudulent. Mm-hmm. Well, if you get rid of PIP,
personal injury protection,
right? If you get rid of PIP, those facilities that may be operating unlawfully, they can't survive. They'll go under. Okay. So if you talk about people that knock on doors and try to replace roof, let's talk about property insurance now, and they're the ones that are fraudulently saying you need a fake roof. Then create a list of individuals or create a list of corporations that if you go to them, it's not going to be insured. It's not going to be covered, just like you do with healthcare, right?
Oh, to put
it's
it
outside
to the
our
roofing
plan.
company?
It's outside our plan, right? So if you don't go, if you use this roofer, it's outside your plan. It's on you, right? It doesn't seem very hard to stop the most basic type of what they quote unquote fraud.
Yeah. So
do insurance companies want some fraud so they can go back to the legislature and go, seems to me there's solutions to this stuff, right? And so there's no way the fraud has gone up 40% in a year to justify a 40% increase in your fee. Show me the data.
Yeah, there's no doubt that the expenses have gotten so out of hand. And we've had state legislators on the show. We've had our insurance guy, Jason Mears. He, on his last appearance, he did say it's starting to get better. He's seeing more companies moving back into the state of Florida, and they're starting to expand. So I think we're kind of like 6 months, 8 months into that 18-month correction. So I think it will be better in another 12 months or so.
Insurance is the only industry that the state of Florida guarantees a profit to.
Really?
So whatever they charge, at a minimum, they're guaranteed a 15% return.
Yeah.
They've well surpassed that.
Yeah.
Okay. And so when I think multiple governors from both sides of the aisle have asked insurance companies, show me your books, and they never produced them.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's
okay?
crazy to me.
And so there should be an outrage and an outrage and an uproar, and you can talk about all these what are the kids doing now in college?
All the protests.
All these protests. Let's protest about the insurance companies.
Yeah.
I mean, today they're the modern mafia. I mean, they're just stealing money
Yeah.
and they don't want to pay.
A lot of people are frustrated with that. We have Derek Coble on our show. He's a right-way PA, public adjuster. And yeah, he's had similar conversations. He's told the stories where the adjuster told the client, "Oh no, you can't bring out an adjuster. You're not allowed to hire an adjuster." Like that's like telling somebody you can't hire an attorney.
I deal with insurance companies on personal injury cases all the time, and from a property side, if you have a legitimate claim, they took away the right for you to sue them and get attorney's fees. So if you're a guy that lives paycheck to paycheck, which is most of us, right?
Yep.
No matter how much you make, you can't sue them because you can't afford to hire an attorney,
That
and they'll
I don't
just
like.
deny your claim.
That I don't like. I don't like that. That's right. All right, Frank Miranda, always a great time catching up with you. Check him out online, fcmlaw.com. He's got offices right here in Tampa on Cypress Avenue. They can handle your real estate closings with their title business. He's got NFL talent representation, and, of course, real estate attorney right here in Tampa Bay. Frank, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
All right, taking a quick break. Coming back, Captain Will Smith Aviation on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, BrandonR.
All right, back here in studio, we got Captain Will Smith in the house. Will Smith Aviation launching a new coffee line, the Captain's Blend. We're going to talk with him about that and more coming up here on the program. And before we do, we always like to feature a couple of our real estate listings. You know, my wife Lindsay and I own a top 100 ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay, helping our sellers sell faster for more money, maximizing the exposure and the profit on the sale of their real estate. And almost 11 years on air now, and so real excited about that and a lot of growth around the real estate team. So a hot listing here in Tampa Bay. This one is 5642 Egret's Place. Beautiful property, Newport Richey. This one is just a great location. You have a gated community, 3 bedrooms, 3.5 bath, 3,000. Gorgeous luxury home here. Beautiful property. You have a gorgeous pool in the back, heated pool, waterfall, pavers, multiple balconies. You got water view across the street, and a great opportunity at 5642 Egret's Place, Newport Richey, Florida. Another one of our hot real estate listings from the Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. 21480 Southwest Marine is another one of our listings. 21480 Southwest Marine. This one is in Dunellen, Florida. Dunellen, it's in the northern part of our listening audience. You're up close to Ocala up that way, and you are close to the renowned crystal clear waters of Rainbow Springs. Got a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home that boasts a serene location in the heart of Rainbow Lake Estates. You can see all of our listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com. Check out PlatinumCoastalElite.com.
Try that in a small town. See how far you make it there.
All right, we got Captain Will Smith in the house. Captain Will, we're going to talk about the aviation industry as well, coming up here as well. I want to give a shout out to our friends over at Brio Tuscan Grill. Brio is a excellent restaurant, a restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show at the International Plaza Mall, right there to the just north on West Shore there. Chef Oscar, Joey is the general manager. Let him know the real estate quarterback sent you. Salmon Fresca, they've got a very popular item there. Excellent food. They got Monday through Friday happy hours as well. You can get some really good burgers for I think like $7 or something over there. Really good stuff. So Yeah, man, some good food over there.
Got
Captain
my
Will's
mouth
welcome in.
watering already. Hey,
I know,
what's going on,
right?
Brandon?
Yeah, buddy. I like the hat.
Thank you. I got this
47.
from our good friend Mike Gallagher. We went up to Wilmington and got rained out.
Nice. Oh, that's
So,
right.
yeah, I came back with this awesome hat, though.
Very cool. Yeah, that would have been cool. I was watching some of the social media. You got to follow Captain Will Smith on Instagram as well. So, yeah, a lot of people think the sky's falling. You know, they're looking at these interest rates, these credit card debt. They're just looking at this, you know, like, man, the sky's falling. Unemployment, they keep saying how low it is. It's not. Actually, people are working 2 and 3 jobs. But it's the sky's not falling. It's just a tire off a Boeing 737 most of the time falling out of the sky.
Yeah, that or an exit window. You know.
Yeah, there you go. It's not the sky falling. It's the stuff from Boeing. But,
exactly.
So why are these things happening in the aviation industry?
Well, when you hire people without experience in certain industries and they overlook and oversight is failing, and you don't want to be a whistleblower because you'll wind up, swimming with the fishes.
Wow.
So it's just kind of like this is what happens when you hire, and I say it over and over again, you hire inexperienced people to go in a job. There's one thing in this life that you cannot buy, and that's 25 years experience doing something.
Yeah.
You just can't throw people in there because they check a box.
Yep.
And when this happens, there's no oversight. Things get overlooked, and then we have, airplanes blowing off exit doors, tires falling off aircraft, you name it. I've seen it. I've even up in the air with the air traffic controllers. I had 3 different controllers give me 3 different altitudes in 3 different directions, and I said, "Okay, guys, stop."
Yeah.
And where do you want me? Because now I'm getting traffic alerts because you guys can't figure out what altitude you want me at.
Holy cow.
So if it's happening to me in the private industry, you can bet your bottom dollar it's happening in the commercial industry too.
So you're in the cockpit and your machine is telling you, hey, something doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
You're communicating to the tower who's
Right.
supposed to be professionals, and they're giving you conflicting information.
That is correct. So we have something on the aircraft called TCAS, and it's a traffic clearance automated system, and it lets us know where other aircraft are if we're descending into an aircraft or we have an aircraft coming at us, and we depend on the controllers to notify of these things. But when the controllers and we're talking about like center control, not tower control, when the controllers can't agree on what altitude they want the aircraft at, then then you have a closure rate. So things happen really, really fast. And at that point, I just have to take over and say, okay, from my experience, what am I going to do? What is TCAS telling me to do? And then we're able to neutralize the situation.
Yeah, we're talking with Captain Will Smith Aviation on the Consumer Quarterback Show, longtime friend of the program. Support the local economy by supporting local area businesses related to the Consumer Quarterback Show. All of our expert contributors can be found at consumerqb.com. So, Captain Will, we were talking a little bit about, this basically it's DEI is what it is.
Yeah.
They call it the diversity, equity, inclusion, but it's not. It's actually reverse racism. It's a way to kind of cherry pick applicants based on skin color, things that you can't change, things that Dr. Martin Luther King proved, that it's not the skin color that matters, it's the character that matters. But I'm happy to see some of the colleges. I think it was UNC, University of North Carolina, ended up reversing the policy, saying, "Hey, we're canceling this DEI this whole program at our school, and we're going to be giving all the money to the campus police department."
Yep, and that's awesome. The thing I like about resumes, a paper resume, is it doesn't show gender, doesn't show color. It shows the person's ability to complete a job.
Yeah.
It shows that if you went to school or college and graduate 4 years, it showed that you showed up every day, you completed a task, and you moved on and you graduated from that task.
Yeah.
So when I see a resume, that's what I'm looking at. I don't look in the resume and say, "Oh, is this a male or female?" I don't look at it and say, "Well, is this person, are they African? Are they white? Are they black? Are they gray?" I don't look at that. I look at their experience, and as hiring, in my I want to see that you've flown a jet for over 1,000 hours. And if you meet those qualifications and you meet those merits, then I hire you. Then I meet you in person after I decide I wanted to hire you.
Yeah.
So, and that's the way it should be.
So you're not looking for pronouns on there?
No.
You're not looking for pronouns on there?
No.
Well, that's good, though. Keep putting the pronouns on your resumes for those people, and then we'll know what to sort out. Talk to me a little bit about your coffee line. You're an entrepreneur, man. You're always coming up with these things. You're writing books. You wrote 2 books. You got movies out there.
Yeah.
You got a coffee line now. What are we doing?
So, well, in aviation, the one thing that everybody, especially pilots, they get there early in the morning, they're having a cup of coffee. And sometimes the coffee, depending on what FBO you're at, or it's not the best in the world, or it's not strong. You drink it, and 20 minutes later, you're tired again. So I was like, well, I want to do something different. So for a present, our friend of ours, his wife is Colombian. She brings me fresh Colombian beans, and she meant to at the time purchase them. They were already roasted, but they weren't. They were raw. I was like, well, hey, and I'll roast them myself. So I started roasting them, and they came out really good. And the coffee tastes good, and it lasted. It didn't wear off in 15 minutes because the coffee I roast is a little bit on the cowboy side.
Yeah,
it's strong. It's going to last more than 15 or 20 minutes when you drink it, which is okay because that's the whole purpose of drinking coffee, is to stay awake. So I started roasting it. It came out good. I got a lot of compliments. I went to Sun and Fun. I started selling it. I had this one gentleman that came back and he bought every bag I had left.
Wow.
He's like, man, I love this because my wife doesn't like it that much because it's really, really, really strong. He goes, but I love it. He goes, this is my type of coffee I remember when I was back in the Marines.
I like it.
It just, and then it just snowballed from there. And then I had, the group up in the Panhandle up in Panama City, a lady that I knew and used to instruct with back in the day. She's now a DPE for the FAA. She invites me up. Her and her husband invite me up. They own a flight school to be a guest speaker. And the first thing she says, bring every bit of coffee you have. We've heard a lot of great things about it.
Wow.
So this thing just kind of blossomed out of
it.
nowhere. So it's just a basic Colombian blend. And sometimes I throw out other beans from maybe Venezuela or Ecuador or something. We just kind of blend these beans together. We roast them,
nice.
and it just took its own life.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah.
Well, I mean, hey, if it's anything like some of the cooking you've done over the years, I mean, man, if you ever get a chance, go to Will's house and have him cook a steak. He cooked this tomahawk-looking thing.
Yeah,
I was like,
that
wow.
came out really good.
I needed some coffee after that. It about put me into a coma. It was some good food. But if it's anything like that, man, that's awesome, man. I love that. So you found a new passion in roasting beans and creating Captain's Blend.
It makes people happy, Like when I land and it's a greaser, it makes people happy. They like my coffee, it makes people happy.
I love it. I love it. So talk to me too when you think about Will Smith Aviation, it's kind of changed over the and you're able to fly folks that have their private pilots planes, their own plane, and you're also offering that as a service, and you also do consulting as well.
Yep.
Where you're able to consult other pilots and other owners on the best plane, because there's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah, it is. And when you're earlier in the show, you're talking about how inflation's going and everything's going up and everything's increasing. Everything costs more in fuel and insurance, and it just when you bundle all that all together, you have something called an operational cost. Well, how much money am I spending per year to operate this aircraft? Well, it's got to the point that people are looking at it and says, okay, we got to get rid of our yacht and we got to get rid of our jet. Well, I don't know a whole lot about yachts, but we both have a mutual friend that does. But in the airplane industry, aircraft industry, I take it a different approach. It's like you can still own your airplane, and this is where the consulting comes in.
Yeah.
I look at their aircraft and say, you ever thought about leasing this out to other buyers or other people that like private aviation, or even a step further than that, take it into a fractional where you own 25% of the plane. So now instead of having 100% of the cost, you only have 25% of the cost.
Yeah.
So what I do is I get like-minded people together, and we get together in a group and say, okay, hey, this is an awesome jet. This fits our mission. Let's break this pie down into fourths.
Yes.
And so now everybody can still, and this is how we reduce that cost increase, is by having 4 different entities or 2 different entities. How many ways you want to cut the pie, and it makes it back down to during Trump. Before we have the clown that got into the office.
Yep.
So now it takes it back to where they're comfortable, and it's comfortable for them. It's comfortable for their wallet, and they can keep their plane, and they can still take advantage of the private industry and private jets.
Yeah, I love that. If it came down to me with my yacht and my plane, I'm going to keep the plane.
Oh yeah,
I mean, every time,
because the plane will get you they're a lot faster than the yacht,
especially in an election year.
Oh yeah.
Talking to Captain Will Smith here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. So you got a public speaking event coming up, you mentioned?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
And that's the Patriots Pilot Academy. This is up in Panama City, so they asked me to come up there and pay for me to come up there and do public speaking and talk to their class. And apparently the mayor of Panama City is going to be there, and some other officials from Tallahassee, which I didn't know. So they're expecting 400 to 500 people. That's a huge audience for me. So I'm going to talk about the entrepreneurial side of aviation, the other, aviation is a huge industry. It's still growing, believe it or not. It's kind of weather the storm. Been going on, so I get to share the experiences that I've had over the past 26 years, going on 27 years now, in aviation, and give ideas for people, because there's more than just being a pilot. I mean, there's all different avenues of aviation, from the maintenance side, the managerial side, the entrepreneurial side. There's so many different areas that you can get into aviation and prosper. And I see the change in the shift to where people are getting hesitant about flying commercial because of everything they're seeing in the news,
right?
Whether it's with Boeing, whether it's with delayed flights, whether it's just weather. Sometimes they say it's weather and it's not there, and
right, it's their economies of scale is what they're trying to maximize, and
exactly.
They'll blame it on the weather.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
Yep.
So it's there's great things in aviation, and I'm honored to be able to go up there and talk about my experience in it, and how the younger generation can have an opportunity to do something that they love, and it's like a passion. Because when you go to work and you're happy, you have your dream job.
Yeah, exactly. You're not working; you're just enjoying your life.
Yep.
We're going to take a quick break there. More with Captain Will Smith on the flip side. Plus, we got our feel good story of the day. Grad student trades piano performances for housing at a senior facility. We'll be right back here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show.
Back here in studio, Captain Will Smith Aviation. More with him coming up here on the program. Quick shout out to my massage therapist, Christina, Divine Balance Alternative Healing. She does a great job right here in Tampa Bay. She's got a convenient location off of US 19, alternate 19 in Palm Harbor. So definitely, if you're in Pinellas, check her out. Divine Balance Alternative Healing, and they have a lot of upgrades. You have enhancements with hot towels, hot stones, aromatherapy, infused oils as well, reflexology, Divine Balance Alternative Healing. Check her out online.com. It's divinebalancealternativehealing.com, and say hello to Christina. Let her know that you heard about her right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Does a great job. I highly recommend it as well. All right, every day we'd like to tell you a positive story, feel-good story of the day. We got a grad student that trades piano performances for housing at a senior facility, melting the age divide and making friends. So Beth Christensen, a piano student at University of Missouri, Kansas City Conservatory, lives in Claridge Court, a senior living facility, as part of a unique partnership between the home and the conservatory. She engages with the residents by performing music, forming genuine relationships along the way. Despite initial reservations, she's expanded her repertoire to include a variety of music genres based on residents' preferences. In return for her stay, she immerses herself in the community, playing games, having conversations, and a lot of the supporters around the community are happy to see that. They're enriching the connections, and what a win-win situation there, right? You've got a piano player bartering her housing. So there you go. Housing's so expensive today.
Yeah.
She plays piano. The old folks love it. The folks at the senior facility love it. And it's a win-win situation there, Captain Will.
It sure is.
Yeah, man.
Wish I knew how to play a piano. I could do that too.
Right, yeah. I always wanted my daughter to play piano, but I just never got the lessons done, I guess. 2845 17th Avenue North, one of our hot real estate listings. I've got to get this one in. The team said this is a beautiful property, brand new listing in St. Petersburg. Please get this one in. 2845 17th Avenue North, St. Pete. 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 700 square foot home. Perfect starter home for someone. Very affordable. Updated kitchen, large backyard. It's the North Kenwood area, minutes to downtown St. Pete. And when you think about affordability, this is an affordable property right here in St. Petersburg, Florida. Another affordable property, 105 Lake Tarpon Drive. This one is close to Lake Tarpon. There's a community boat ramp. You could launch a boat, keep a boat there as well. There's a community center with shuffleboard. You have a pool. And this is a great opportunity to own real estate right here in Palm Harbor. 105 Lake Tarpon Drive, Unit 26. 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 740 square foot, and another affordable real estate property from the Platinum MVP team. You can see all of our real estate listings at platinumcoastalelite.com. All right, Captain Will Smith back here in studio with Captain Will. What else are you seeing out there, Captain?
Well, on our website, we've decided to do something, and just what we're doing in general since the summertime's here. We are offering these neat little getaways for the weekend, because we look at people that, they want a vacation, but if you have the money to vacation, you're usually working. You don't have time. So we created these like little Thursday to Sunday or Friday, Saturday, or just day trips down to the Keys. It's kind of like a parrot head experience where you'll get on a nice little prop airplane, kind of like Jimmy Buffett did, and we'll hit the Keys and go to different places where you can eat overnight, do a sunset cruise, or maybe the dry Tortugas. And then we have our, if you like fishing, guys are going to love this one. So we're going to fly out to Bimini, put you on a nice fishing boat, and go out and do some maybe deep drops, or even go to Nassau if you just want to spend some time on a nice private yacht, but you don't want to spend a week or 10 days like most of the yacht vacations are. You can do it in a couple of days and cruise around in the Caribbean and kind of enjoy yourself. So we've created packages. You got to check it out online at willsmithaviation.com and go to our trips page there. We've really created a lot of awesome destinations that originate in Tampa, because the whole process was Tampa direct. So we're going to take everybody in the Tampa Bay area. If you're down here vacationing and you jump on one of our private jets, we'll fly you to somewhere really, really cool, and you can either go fishing, just lay out by the pool, go out on a catamaran or a sailboat, watch the sunset. It's a lot of really cool stuff, so you can enjoy Florida. That's why we even did the day trips. So some people come down on vacation, they just want to pop down to Key West for a day, have the $100 cheeseburger, and shoot back up. We got that available too. And you went on it with me and Mike Gallagher. We went down and for the $100 cheeseburger. So it's just a lot of really cool stuff, so you can really explore Florida when you're down here and you're in the Tampa Bay area, and have some fun with it.
Yeah, I love it. Alex, you got any questions for Captain Will?
Well, when's the next time you're going to the Keys, man, so you can bring back some key lime right out there with you?
Hopefully soon. We're looking. I've been so busy the past couple of weeks because the company is just really growing and exploding. We just moved into a bigger office. We just expanded, hired on some sales guys. So it's very exciting time in private aviation. We're growing a business when the inflation's through the ceiling. And it's amazing, and we have opportunities, and we've got more coming up. Private jets on to get you further destinations that you might want to go to, say New York, or whoever wants to go there. But if you need to get there for business, and then out in the Midwest for golfing, we got a lot of really cool golfing opportunities where we put together packages for men and women, children alike, and you go to to Nassau and play at the Royal Blue down there. That's an amazing course down in Nassau.
Nice.
So we're doing a lot of fun things, but Key West is our favorite. Yeah, we gotta go back down soon.
I love the Keys, man. Let's get down to the Keys. It's just it's like when we live in Florida, we got so many options too, right? And when you go to the Keys, it's just, man, you just feel like you're in a tropical oasis. The fishing is great, the snorkeling, diving, just so many different things. Good restaurants as well down there as well.
Yeah, there is a lot of really good restaurants. But so we're taking this to another level. Bimini Island, I suggest everybody check out Bimini, man.
Bimini's awesome. I've done some fishing out there. Bimini's amazing.
They've got, so it's really starting to grow now, and it's right off of Miami. There's many different ways to get there. It's easy for the East Coast people to get there because they have the express boat that shoots over to Bimini. They got the amphib planes that fly you over there. But from the West Coast, a little bit harder. So I saw that niche. I was like, well, let's get everybody on the West Coast together, and let's go to Bimini. Let's have some fun.
I like it, man. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Get out there and enjoy that Florida lifestyle to the fullest, man. I talk about that with a lot of these real estate properties. But yeah, man, you can utilize Will Smith Aviation. Check them out online. Connect with them on social media as well. How do you want people to connect with you, Will?
Well, if you got willsmithaviation.com, if you want to check out me and my author page, that's captainwillsmith.com, or just check us out on IG. We're on IG and LinkedIn. So where you can look us up there, IG is great because I do a lot of video and everywhere I go. So if you want to kind of see the experience that I'm talking about here on the radio today, but if you actually want to see it, check me out on IG. I have a lot of videos of a lot of different destinations we go to.
You look like you were backstage almost at the last Trump rally in the
I was
Carolinas.
right there, man. I was so disappointed because the thunderstorms came in. It was right during the heat of the day. We'd all been standing outside. It was hot, and he was trying to get in. I could see his plane circling the airport, but the clouds are coming in, and he called in.
Yeah,
he called in and said, "Sorry guys, but I gotta, we got hightail it out of here because he couldn't get in, couldn't land because of all the thunderstorms.
Yeah, that would have been cool, man.
So I got this awesome hat, though.
I like it. That's awesome. All right. Hey, another great show. We had Frank Miranda, attorney Frank Miranda on the show, Captain Will Smith, and, of course, Alex Lima always on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.